Bye. Anyways, chances are if you're seeing this video, it is because you are thinking about adding chickens to your homestead, your hobby farm, or even just in your suburban backyard, because that's how easy chickens are. You can really add them to anywhere so long as your city allows it. And speaking of that, I'm going to let you know 7 or 8 things I haven't decided yet. What you need to know before you get chickens. The very first thing is going to be whether or not you are allowed to have chickens, okay? There are zoning laws in a lot of cities or HOAs that tell you if you can have chickens, how many you can have, if you can have a rooster or not. They know that I am talking about them, so they have come to see me and see what's going on and see if I have brought them any food. The second thing that you're going to need to consider is where your chickens are going to live. Are you going to build them a hobo mansion like we have done here with our leftover equipment, or are you going to buy a prefabricated house like you can get at Tractor Supply or on Amazon, which is what we have put our little babies in over here in their little domicile. That is for our little babies. That's where they're in between houses and they love it. It works out great for them. Things to consider when you're building their house is you need to make sure their house is safe and predator proof. We have used hardware cloth here on their home. We have put a piece of like plastic, like corrugated plastic here that you would see on a greenhouse to keep that part safe where an animal can't rip that out. We have also put the hardware cloth all the way around the coop on the bottom so they can't get it. We have Jimmy rigged another door over there for our juveniles that we have, and it is a little bit warmer today than typical. So we have Salt over here taking a little dust bath, trying to cool off. Her sister Pepper right here is getting some snackage. Charisse and Denise are looking for some snacks as well. I don't know what Gertie back there is doing. He's very confused. My best guess is that she is hiding from the rooster. She is one of his favorites and he does not leave her alone very often. Another thing to consider is food. If you are going to let your chickens free range, they will get a lot of grass, they'll get a lot of bugs and ticks and things like that. My chickens are spoiled rotten. They do both. They get to free range while I'm home, and then they also get fancy scratch and worms. The worms are great for training them. Anytime I shake a bag out here, they'll come running. So if I feel like they got somewhere, or if I see a predator or a hawk or something like that, I will shake that and those hens come running, which is great for recalls. So you need to consider if you can afford to buy their feed if you are in winter months and there's just not that many bugs and grass out, or if you can go ahead and get them the scratch that they want. It's not a big deal to you. Those are things to consider before you get chickens also. Something that I did not think about before I got so many chickens was that we do like to go on vacation, and there are times where I have to really struggle to find someone that I can trust, that I know is going to put my chickens away every night, as well as make sure they are fed and collect their eggs. I have had multiple times where someone didn't collect their eggs for a couple days and my hens ended up being broody when I got back, which is not good. I had no idea how long they had been sitting on eggs, things like that. So make sure that if you are planning to go on vacation, you have a plan, whether it be a deep feeding system and watering system, or you hire someone you know and has experience with chickens. That is very important, because going on vacation, that can be such a headache to have to figure out. Another thing that I did not consider when I got chickens was chicken math. I knew that I was eventually going to want more chickens. I just didn't realize how serious it was. If you buy adult chickens and add them to your flock, how important quarantining and making sure that those hens are healthy. I have lost several hens because I brought infected hens into my flock too early and did not quarantine them the way that I was supposed to. I brought mycoplasma, which is a bacterial infection that my hens are going to have for the rest of their lives. Every time I see symptoms, I have to get out the Tylosin and treat the entire flock and isolate any of them that are showing more symptoms than the other and try and resuscitate, save them, whatever. It has been a nightmare. I have lost 2 of my absolute favorite hens to it, and it is heartbreaking. So that is something that I wish that every new chicken owner knew, that is that when you get hens from another flock and you're wanting to integrate them into your existing flock, make sure that you quarantine them, you isolate them for at least 30 days so that you can figure out if they have any kind of symptoms of any kind of disease, whether it be something like mycoplasma or even just mites, anything that your hens can get, and it can wreak havoc, and it is so hard to get rid of. Even if you are just bringing in healthy hens to your existing flock, there can be some issues with that. I have some chicks down here that will be entering our main flock here within the next 6 weeks or so, and I have to keep them separate because if they are introduced too soon, I have a lot of pecking order issues. I have my rooster. I have a lot of things that could affect their lives, unfortunately. So what we will do is we will slowly integrate them in, and they will be able to see them but not touch them for a long time so that they can see that they are harmless and that they are supposed to be there. And then in the middle of the night, one night, not the middle of the night, but when it's dark, we will place them in the coop at night and they will wake up together, and then we'll just have to let the pecking order situation work itself out. Obviously, I will keep my eye out for any bullies, anything I see that might hurt my hens, but that is something to consider also if you are adding adult hens that are healthy to your flock. You're going to want to make sure that you do it in the right way so that there is no bullying or death upon your hens from entering too soon, basically. Speaking of hens getting disease and having to figure that out, there are not a ton of avian doctors around here, like veterinarians. They're just not. So I have had to learn symptoms, signs, medicines, all the things in order to keep my hens healthy because there's just not that many doctors out here that can help. So not only do I have to diagnose, I have to treat, and then I have to quarantine, and I have to figure that all out on my own, which can be a lot. So if you're not used to, or you don't think that you have the time or the money to do that, that is something else to consider before getting chickens because you just don't know when it could happen. Wet season brings on a ton of respiratory diseases. If you're integrating new hens, like I said, into your flock and maybe they had dormant symptoms, that can bring diseases in. You just literally never know what could pop up, and you just need to be prepared. You need to join chickens groups because local chicken groups are going to have the answers. As toxic as they can be and judgmental as they can be, if you watch their posts, chances are another chicken owner has dealt with what you're dealing with, and they are going to have an answer to figure out how you can treat it. Another thing to consider is if you are getting hens and you have existing animals, like for instance, dogs, do those dogs like birds? That is a big, big deal. I have seen so many people posting on the chicken pages lately saying that they have to get rid of their hens or their dog because their dog is wreaking havoc on their flock, killing them. Some dogs are just bred to do that, and it happens. If your dogs are born and bred to get birds, chances are they're going to think of chickens as prey, and you're going to have to do something about that. You're going to have to either choose the dog, keep them separated, make sure that you are keeping both your dog and your hens safe. Lastly, I want you to consider that pretty much everything wants to eat a chicken. So if you don't have the money, the time, or the resources in order to make their coop into Fort Knox and keep predators out and make sure that you can check on them, for one, I would not let them free range if you're not able to check on them. And for two, you need to maybe save up a little bit so that you can give them the maximum amount of safety that you can, because literally anything from a stray dog, a raccoon, a possum. I have seen so many people lose their entire flocks to stray dogs that dug under their fence, got into their yard, whatever. And it is so sad to see because the price of hens is ridiculous right now. So it's super hard. Daisy! So it is super, my dog is like inside of a water bucket. Anyways, it is super hard to replace the hens that you lose, and it's hard to put a money value on that, especially me. I love my hens more than anything. I cry when they die, so that is a big, big deal. And I wish I knew when I first got hens how delicate they were. I mean, how much everything wanted to eat them, how much a hawk was going to come by and grab them, and it just, there's nothing that can prepare you for that. I hope this guide gave you a little bit of answers on whether or not you are ready to own hens, or if it's something that you want to do, just considering all of the good and the bad. I listed some bad things, but I want you to know that I love my hens. If you are like a cat person, if you like cats, you're going to love hens. I can watch my chickens all day long. I can watch them scratch. I can watch them peck. I can watch them take dust baths. I like buying them little toys. I like doing all the things. I love my hens. It is one of the greatest things I have done for myself. I feel like it just gives me like that much more fulfillment that I'm contributing to my family's food source and I'm taking care of an animal that is taking care of me. It feels very fulfilling. It feels very soft life. It feels very farm core, and I really, really like it. So I work all day long at a 9 to 5. I get to work from home, which is nice, but having all of that corporate stuff and then coming home and going out and feeding my chickens worms, digging up worms for them is something that is just so fun and something I never really saw myself doing before. So it really just makes me happy and it's really fulfilling. And I would recommend everyone get hens. I just want everyone to consider all of the things before they do that, because there are things to consider, like their safety, like how much they cost, where they're going to live, if you're allowed to have them, all of that. So if you are someone who is considering chickens, I highly recommend it. I just want everyone to be careful, like I said. If you found this video helpful, I hope you will like and subscribe and stick around for more videos. Check out this video here where I talk about 5 things I wish I knew before I got hens.